The video begins with a slow, dramatic soundtrack. The screen fades in from black, showing raindrops sliding down a dusty window. A soft narration begins. They say heroes are born in silence, not in the roar of applause. Sometimes, they are ordinary people, walking among us unnoticed, until life demands something extraordinary from them. And that's exactly who she was, just a nurse, quiet, reserved, known more for her gentle smile than for anything else. Her name was Emma. It wasn't a battlefield where her story began, nor was it a decorated stage of honor. No, her story began on a dark roadside, under the flickering light of a broken street lamp, where fate put her against something no one could have imagined. That night was cold. The roads were empty, except for the hum of distant traffic. Emma was driving home after her late shift at the hospital when she noticed something on the side of the road, what looked like a man trying to crawl out of the shadows. She pulled over, instincts taking over. That's what nurses do, they don't think, they act. As she rushed out of her car, her shoes crunching against gravel, she realized the man was in uniform, his jacket torn, his body trembling, his face pale from blood loss. He was a soldier. He had been ambushed. Before Emma could even process it, shadows moved behind her. 3 men stepped out, knives glinting under the yellow glow of the street lamp. She froze. It didn't take long for her to realize, they were the ones who had attacked him. Her heart raced. She wasn't trained for combat. She wasn't a Marine, a soldier, or a fighter. But as they closed in, she made a decision in that split second, she would not leave this soldier to die. They demanded she step aside. They told her to walk away. But she shook her head, putting herself between the soldier and the men. The first attacker lunged. Pain tore through her side as the blade sank in. She gasped but didn't fall. The second came, stabbing again and again. She screamed but refused to move away. Every time they struck, she shielded the soldier with her body. 7 times the knives cut into her. 7 times she could have given up, collapsed, and saved herself. But she didn't. The attackers, realizing she wasn't going down, panicked and ran into the darkness. Emma collapsed to her knees, her vision blurring, her hands covered in blood, her own blood. Yet, even then, she pressed her hands against the soldier's wounds, whispering, "Stay with me, just stay with me." Minutes felt like hours before headlights finally appeared in the distance. A passing car slowed, then stopped. Help was called. Sirens roared, and Emma drifted into unconsciousness. When she opened her eyes again, it was morning. White walls. The steady beep of a heart monitor. She was alive. Barely, but alive. Her body was stitched, bandaged, broken, but her spirit, unshaken. The nurse who usually saved lives had almost lost her own, defending a soldier she didn't even know. But then, something happened that no one expected. The hospital room door opened. And in walked 6 Marines, in full uniform, their boots heavy against the floor, their expressions unreadable. They stood at her bedside, silent for a moment. Then one of them, the highest ranking among them, spoke in a voice low and steady. "Ma'am, we don't leave our own behind. Yesterday, you became one of us." Her eyes welled up. She wasn't a Marine. She wasn't military. She was just, her. But to them, she had done something even some soldiers couldn't do. She had stood between death and one of their brothers, refusing to back down. They told her the soldier she saved would live because of her. That her sacrifice had rewritten the ending of his story. And then, one by one, they stood straighter, raised their hands, and saluted her. Emma couldn't stop crying. She never expected honor. She never wanted recognition. She had simply followed her heart. Yet here they were, warriors who had seen the worst of war, saluting her as if she was one of their own. Word spread quickly. Veterans came to see her. Marines she had never met before stopped by her hospital room to shake her hand. Even the soldier she had saved, still recovering, whispered through tears, "You were my angel that night." But Emma didn't feel like an angel. She felt broken, scarred, and haunted by the memory of cold steel cutting into her. Nights were sleepless, filled with flashbacks. Pain made her body weak. Yet through it all, she kept reminding herself, he lived. He lived because she didn't step aside. And for the Marines, that meant everything. Weeks later, when she was strong enough to stand, she was invited to the Marine base. She hesitated, unsure if she belonged in a place like that. But when she arrived, she was greeted not as an outsider, but as family. The base commander himself walked her across the grounds, soldiers saluting her as she passed. She tried to smile, tried to hide the tears burning in her eyes, but it was overwhelming. At the end of the visit, the Marines presented her with a folded flag, not as a memorial, but as a living honor, something they said was reserved for those who showed unshakable courage. The commander's words echoed in her heart. You didn't just save a Marine. You proved what it means to fight for someone else. And that's what makes you one of us. Life never went back to the way it was. The scars on her body told a story most people would never know. The limp in her walk was a reminder of the night she almost lost everything. But she never saw it as tragedy. She saw it as purpose. Because sometimes, in the middle of chaos, ordinary people make choices that echo louder than any battlefield. Emma never thought of herself as a hero. She was just someone who couldn't walk away. But to the Marines, she became a symbol. And even today, if you walk into that Marine base, you'll see her photo hanging on the wall. Not as a soldier, not as an officer, but as something far greater, a reminder that courage doesn't always wear a uniform. The screen fades again, the music rising into something powerful, cinematic. Her voice plays softly in the background, from an interview she gave years later. They asked me why I didn't run. Why I didn't save myself. And the truth is, if I had walked away, a part of me would have died anyway. I couldn't let that soldier face it alone. So I stayed, even if it cost me everything. The final shot shows the folded flag on her bedside, the stitches on her hands, and the tears of Marines who still salute her every year. If you're watching this, remember, bravery isn't about being unbreakable. It's about choosing to stand when everything tells you to fall. And heroes like Emma remind us what humanity is still capable of. So if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with someone who needs hope today. Because stories like this deserve to be remembered.